Hello and welcome to Moments of Truth on Labour Social. I'm Graham Hughes. This morning, copy of the Daily Fail landed on the doormats of thousands of doormats around the country and, as always, told them what to be angry about today. The Daily Hile's Wheel of Hate had obviously landed on Labour, and so, OMG, look out! Hardworking parents are going to face a 20% hike in school fees if Starmer gets the keys to number 10. Not all parents, mind you, just a tiny proportion of the population who can afford to send their little snot-faced bollock spawn off to private school. According to the Daily Hate, that's going to cause a class war, apparently. I don't think it will, but if the 7% of the population who attended private school think they can take on the 93% who didn't, I will not stand in the way of their lofty ambitions. The Mail claims that Labour is facing a backlash over its policy to make private schools charge VAT. They're not. Why not? Well, mainly because if you can afford £30,000 a year to send little Tarquin or Guinevere off to the posh school, you can afford £36,000 to send little Tarquin or little Guinevere off to the posh school. And if you can't, here's an idea. Don't send your kid to a posh school. Save your money and quite possibly save your child from either being abused, something that is statistically more prevalent in private schools, or growing up an absolutely awful person. At this point, I have to do the old disclaimer. Not everyone who attends private school comes out the other side as a horrible sociopath, braying, tax dodging, coked up Tory sex pest. Okay? Some good friends of mine were privately educated, and some of my all-time heroes attended private schools, like Rick Mail, Armando Iannucci, Philip Pullman, to name a few. Hell, listen, if Banksy is who we think he is, he went to a private school and all. But here's the thing. A couple of years ago, I launched a website called privateschoolmafia.com. All it is a list of people in the public eye who attended private school. Pretty much every day since I launched that site, someone with a modicum of power has appeared in the news saying or doing something horrible. I've looked them up on Wikipedia, and lo and behold, 99 times out of 100, they went to private school. Every freaking day. These are the people who in some way restricted your rights, curtailed your horizons, made you poorer, and in many cases, have done everything in their power to shit all over your hopes and dreams. What makes it even worse is that many of these people are, let's face it, thick as mints and wouldn't have achieved anything in life had they not been born into money. Told every day they were very special little boys and girls, promoted way beyond their abilities by their old school chums. The sheer number of perverts, psychos and pricks on the list is really quite disturbing. Boris Johnson, Lawrence Fox, Suella Braverman, Nigel Farage, Aaron Banks, Daniel Hannan, Patrick Minford, Lance Foreman, Richard Tice, Katie Hopkins, Russell Brand, Desmond Swain, Digby Pudding Jones, Tim Westwood, Ghislaine Maxwell, George Osborne, Peter Dacre, Allegra Stratton, Dominic Cummings, Jeremy Clarkson, Jeremy Corbyn, Jeremy Hunt, Jeremy Kyle, Cressida Dick, Ed Sheeran, Chris Martin, James Blunt, Marcus Mumford, Matt Hancock, Richard Drax, Jonathan Gullis, Harry Cole, Isabel Oakeshott, David Williams, Piers Morgan, Kelvin McKenzie, David Frost, David Cameron, Theresa May, Rishi Sunak, and hundreds of others. Going back a bit, I had to add Tony Blair and Nick Clegg, and good luck getting to be the head of a political party if you weren't head boy of the incredibly exclusive Ponsonby Smythe Academy for Gifted Crotch Nuggets. Lib Dem leader Ed Davey, SNP leader Hamza Yusuf were both privately educated, and even Keir Starmer technically attended a private school as his grammar school became private while he was there. Now, there are those who equate these institutions to terrorist training camps. And there are some that will go as far as calling them see you next Tuesday farms. I couldn't possibly comment. But here are the facts as they stand. Private schools pay no tax. They are not required to follow the national curriculum, and they don't have to be inspected by Ofsted. It might be worth pointing out that the current head of Ofsted, Amanda Spielman, was privately educated. They lie about being charities because they're not charities unless you consider the offspring of millionaires and billionaires to be children in need. On average, just 1 in every 100 places in these schools is gifted to a member of the working class. Maybe just 1 child in any given year group. And no, there isn't a drive to recruit talented kids off the streets of Norris Green, Byker or Moss Side. But wait, it gets worse. Since the bulk of the money these places dodge in tax isn't going on bursaries for disadvantaged children, it has to be spent on something, or else they'll lose their not-for-profit credentials. So what's it spent on? Mostly musical instruments, sporting facilities, and sporting equipment for the children of millionaires. And by that money not going to the exchequer, we, the dickhead taxpayers of this ridiculous little country, are effectively subsidizing them to do this. Whichever way you look at it, private schools are just grotesquely unfair. Not to mention they create more than their fair share of damaged yet powerful people. The tiny proportion of the population who are privately educated dominate public life in the UK to a truly shocking extent, muscling out the 93% of us who went to state schools from politics, from media, from showbiz, the arts, elite sport, the judiciary, and a truly scandalous number of top jobs in the city of London and elsewhere. There exists a well-worn VIP lane in the United Kingdom for those fortunate to be born into it. Of course, it suits the Tories, as the majority of people who go to private schools will end up voting Tory, donating to the Tories, or even running to be a Tory in order to solidify their privilege and ensure little in the way of social mobility for everyone who went to the wrong school, no matter how devastatingly intelligent or ludicrously talented they may be. If you ever stop to wonder why pretty much everything in this country is so bloody beige, so half-arsed, so painfully mediocre, this is why. In summary, Labour's plan to slap VAT on school fees is a good start, and hopefully the first step on the long road to total abolition of private schools, those diabolical and grossly immoral engines of privilege.